Hey, what's going on YouTube? This is the ElementalMaker, and today we're going to finish up the G0704 CNC Milling Machine conversion by converting the X and Y axis over to ball screws. The first step here was actually removing the ball screw from the Y axis. You can see this didn't go as planned. Ah, shit. So I lost a few ball screws there, and after a quick lesson in repacking ball nuts, got it back together. Make sure that little collar pipe thing that you use is turned down to, I think it was 0.53 inches is kind of the magic number there. I just got a little piece of PVC and turned it down. Here you just want to lube up everything real well. Standard practice. Putting the saddle back on. Getting everything tightened up. Nothing too exciting here. Just make sure you use Loctite. If things start coming loose on you, you're going to start getting all sorts of issues with backlash, and it would take a while to track it down. So make sure you Loctite just about everything. Putting in the Y-axis gib there. And then tightening down the ball screw holder, whatever that would be called. Ball screw connector, I guess. So jumping forward a little bit, just tightening down the Y-axis motor. So again, these are 570 inch-pound motors from Automation Technologies, and the ball screw and all the hardware is from Arizona Video, and you can find him on pretty much all the CNC forums. I think it's CNC Zone that he's on pretty regularly. So putting in the table there. Lubing up the gib. And I gotta say, the gibs that came with this mill are terrible. My X gib is a little bit bowed actually. It seems to work okay, but I think in the future I'm probably going to lap it just to get a nice flat surface there, and then maybe just scrape it a little bit for oil retention. Just want to get it in there nice and snug. Don't go too crazy. I ran into some binding issues. If I tightened it down too much, I had to play with it a pretty good deal to get it to sit right in there. Now, one thing I did run into once I got this all hooked up was actually the casting of the table was bulged. So I had to actually mill some of that down, which you're seeing right now. So that whole center portion of the casting was actually so bulged that it was kind of bumping into the ball nut, which, you know, was causing my stepper motors to go a little crazy and would have screwed up accuracy. This apparently isn't common at all, but if you run into this sort of problem, you might need to clearance your table a little bit there. So once I did that, reassembled the table, got the side covers on, And these couplers from Arizona Video are actually really good. I've seen some of these style couplers before that I wasn't really impressed with. Really soft rubber material, whereas the ones he has are like a really hard sort of nylon, maybe a polycarbonate urethane. It's a pretty tough material, so it shouldn't cause any backlash issues on you, which is really good. Just make sure you don't use the ones with the cheap, super flexible rubber. That could definitely cause some backlash issues for you. So once you get that table or X-axis motor on there, you're pretty much wrapped up with the conversion. Now I do have another video coming very shortly showing a couple modifications I did for my column to really be able to dial this sucker in very well. So make sure you subscribe to check out that video. It should be coming in the next maybe week or so. Alright guys, so we got the X and Y axis done. Z was already done in the last video. You can see I have my TTS, Tormach TTS tool holder in there. So I'll try not to crash the Z. Get my reset here. And she is running like a charm. That is beautiful. That's pretty cool. Let's take some serious coordination here to do by hand. So she's up and running. Pretty easy to adjust your speeds right there in Mach 3. Just go into the config and the I think motor options or something like that, and you can just ramp it up till you get a speed that seems pretty good. I set all my axes to the same speed. I'm sure they can go significantly faster than this, but right now I don't want to push it in any way. Let me shut that off there. So another issue I ran into here on the build, which I didn't document, but I had my gib set for the X-axis a little bit too far in there. And it was totally fine throughout pretty much the entire motion except for the end of the table here. These last few inches I was starting to get some serious binding, so I adjusted the gib properly and re-lubricated it and all that and put it in a few times, and I was still getting the issue, and it turns out the gib was just too far in there. So since I backed it out a little further and brought it out in this direction, I still have these nice and tight. Nothing crazy, but snug. And yeah, so now I have full range of motion travel, X, Y, Z. This pocket here allows me a full 7 inches of Y travel, which is absolutely awesome. And if I actually were to relieve this part here a little bit, maybe bring it back 1/4 of an inch, I could get a little bit more travel. I don't think that'll be necessary at this point, but it's pretty damn cool. So thank you very much for watching.